Hello, friends. Welcome to this live stream. And today, in the business section, this is basically to discuss about the ideas, tips, and tricks. We are going to discuss about what is going on in the micro blogging arena. We all know that the Twitter is basically going through a transition because now there is a management change in the Twitter with Elon Musk taking over the company, and now Elon Musk is busy in bringing some very profound radical changes in the functioning of Twitter. And Twitter, by the way, is very big. They are more than 1 billion subscribers, and all of us use Twitter on daily basis. But since it is going through a transition, it is actually giving sort of a place for others to catch up. And one of the promising new kid on the block is one of the Indian company which most of India uses today, and that is called KOO. In fact, we also use KOO in a very big way. And, KOO has introduced multilingual feature, and that is what exactly we want to talk about. You see, KOO is from India, and India is a multilingual nation. There are more than 800 official languages with their own script, and about 3,000, more than 3,000 dialects across different languages. So you can imagine that India is the perfect area or perfect country to have a multilingual operations. In fact, we know in the banking arena, the banking has been the multilingual since very beginning. And while working with a lot of these core banking applications services, I know for sure that this was one of the key requirement of all the banks who actually went through automation during the period of 90s in the last century. So India is a very good example where you can actually have a multilingual application launched, and this is exactly what the KOO has done. KOO being a small player, limited only to India, but I think they wanted to differentiate themselves rather than become another player like Twitter. They wanted to play on their USPs, and one of the USPs that they were able to create is multilingual. And today, if I create a KOO, I have the ability to translate on the fly just by clicking one button on the website, and then suddenly KOO provides a facility where my KOO can get translated instantly into 10 different languages, and then people who are comfortable in those different languages can read my KOO. So I type it in English or type it in one language, and I have the ability as a user of KOO to basically convey my message into 10 different languages. And because of this ability, this inherent ability of the KOO platform, they have been able to launch very successfully into Brazilian market. So we will actually talk about that success in a bit, but let's move on and discuss a little bit more on this technology differentiation. So the platform of KOO is very, very simple. It's even simpler than Twitter. The app is very simple, and it uses these bright colors like white and yellow. And unlike the just to differentiate from Twitter, which is blue and white, KOO is white and yellow. And as you can see in this interface, there are 10 different languages. So you can choose to have only one language of your, whatever native language that you speak, or you can actually choose to use the way I use it, where I use in English, and I have automatically configured KOO to change over all my KOOs into multiple languages. So all 10 languages. So that the message that I'm sending out to my followers, they can be in comfortable in multiple languages, but my message gets understood by them very clearly. And in the back end, KOO actually used the Google Translator to translate the KOO messages. So it's not a very big differentiation, and because of this differentiation, recently what I noticed is that even Twitter offered this service that it allows you to translate your KOO or your tweet into multiple languages. So I think this is all the Twitter is also now catching up to this multilingual arena, and the KOO is now sort of created a differential, and it's not the just one other platform in this space which is providing microblogging. Now, as I said, that multilingual could be a good prospect. Being a multilingual microblogging could be a good prospect, since in this microblogging arena, lot of a lot of issues are discussed, and a lot of opinions are expressed. So if you're able to express opinion and understand different opinions, it doesn't matter which language you speak. And if there is a mechanism where a person can engage with you and send a message in the microblogging in Chinese, if you're an Indian, you can still understand, and vice versa. It will be amazing, because I think that is where the technology will come and play a major role, and people will interact with each other, and it will break the language barriers. So I think this is where the space is, and this is where now in the microblogging arena, this is going to explode in a very big way. And KOO has shown that, and they have launched in a country which does not speak English at all, which is Brazil. And Brazil is one of the large country in South America, and the area of Brazil is as big as the United States of America, and Brazil is comparable to USA. If you look at Americas, which is north and south, Brazil is a large country with land mass almost equal to USA. So USA is a big country, so is Brazil. And in Brazil, people speak Portuguese, and the penetration of English is very, very little. I mean, if you will find multilingual people in Brazil, they will actually speak Spanish. So a mix of Portuguese and Spanish they will speak. So use of English is not very prevalent. So in that kind of a country where there is lot of IT, it's a first world country, lot of automation. And because of the language issue, the IT industry is pretty huge, which is catering to the local requirement. So in that kind of an environment, KOO has actually gone into Brazil and opened up their branch, their office in Brazil, launched their app, and within like a couple of days, they were able to record more than 2 million downloads of their app. 1 million on Android platform and another million on iPhone. And they have been able to rope in some of these very popular podcasters. And as soon as these podcasters came on board, they actually they were followed in by another 400,000 to 500,000 new extra users. So within few hours, the KOO usage exploded in Brazil, simply because the KOO was ready with multilingual platform because of coming from India, and they were able to launch their app completely without any change into Portuguese. And that is where I think this is the next business innovation which is going to happen, while the 5G is coming and so many other advancements which are happening in our industry. I think the language barrier is another barrier. Like we have the borders of the countries as a barrier. We also have taxation system as a barrier. We also have the financial freedom, inclusion, etc. are these barriers. Similarly, language could also one barrier which we need to, especially the business people, need to overcome. And I think that is a barrier, and that is why the translators and interpreters have been used in the past. But then in the era of IT and softwares and intelligent systems, if this can be done where you can on the fly change your language without understanding what the other guy is replying in Portuguese, because let him reply in Portuguese, whereas I can reply to him in English, and the software will do the painful job of interpreting and putting it and translating that for the consumption of the Portuguese speaking people or Tamil speaking people or Hindi speaking people or whatever the language could be. So I think this is a starting point, and even Twitter has realized that there is a need for it, and they have also started putting the multilingual feature in their application. So I think a small player making a big change is something that we must watch out for. And if you have not used KOO, I think it is for you to use the KOO, download the KOO and see how the multilingual feature is being used by KOO, and what is the power of that feature. So friends, I look forward to receiving your comments in this particular business section. And if you have any thoughts, any suggestion, any question, feel free to send in. Otherwise, I will meet you tomorrow at 3:30 sharp. Until then, have a nice day. And as always, thanks for watching.